Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson-Milton.
Welcome to another episode of Intentionality, the show dedicated to improving the success rate of entrepreneurs and their businesses by sharing the strategies and tactics of successful suppliers. I am your host, Dominique Simpson-Milton, and today's show is being brought to you by Capital One and the CVMSDC, also known as the Council. It is truly remarkable to consider that Capital One, a name now synonymous with global success, was once a small business. From its humble beginnings, supplier diversity has been a cornerstone of the company's ethos, a testament to the power of intentional inclusivity. On today's show, you will hear about the many ways Capital One helps small businesses grow and the intentional inclusivity built into their supply chain. I am pleased to welcome Reuben Essandoh, Director of Procurement and Supplier Diversity at Capital One. Reuben, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dominique. Thanks for having me.
Yes,
excited to be here.
It is always a pleasure to interact with you. So Reuben, tell our viewers how Capital One even started. It's a phenomenal story.
It is a phenomenal story. One that it's still amazing to actually kind of think about and comprehend. Still a founder-led. We are 50,000 by way of associate numbers. So our CEO, who was a consultant at the time, thought about what are other ways that we can support customers better manage their financial challenges that they face. So he thought about, he's really much into data, right? Mm-hmm. So he thought, hey, if we had data, if we had a lot of insights, if we had a lot of analytics, maybe we can do better by democratizing credit. So that's how it really came about, right? Like finding a way to really meet the customer where they are, what their needs are, and provide them with financial solutions towards kind of meeting their day-to-day ends. Today, we're obviously in so many other areas. We actually pride ourselves as being a technology company, which happens to do banking. So really, if you look at the way we work, there's a lot of agile concepts, there's a lot of AI. We're very much in the cloud with our day-to-day functioning.
I love that. And so you started small. How many years ago was it?
About 28 years ago.
28 years ago, and now you're a global brand.
We're a global brand. We have operations in Canada. We have operations in the United Kingdom, India, the Philippines. We're very much an international brand.
And I don't want our viewers to miss what you said, because you're not a banking company, you're not a credit card company, you're a technology company.
We are a technology company. So we actually compete with the likes of Google, Microsoft for the same amount of talent. And that is why programs like Supplier Diversity are very important, because they go way into helping us meet the customers where they are and better support our stakeholders.
Well, that was my next question. Why is it important to the fabric of Capital One to invest in supplier diversity?
Our mission is simple, right? Change banking for good. And with that comes an investment into the communities in which we live and do business. So we really believe that if we support businesses in the local kind of environments in which we are, we actually tend to do better. And this actually proves itself in the economic impact kind of studies that we've done, where the spend with diverse-owned businesses yields several multipliers by way of employment, by way of wages, by way of taxes to those local economies. Now, it's also funny, we actually live and do business in those economies, so it actually benefits us. When the local economy thrives, we do well. There are so many other reasons for which we do it, though. We are a financial services company, so there's regulation requiring us to have so much spend, or at least do business with diverse-owned businesses, as well as it is the right thing to do. A lot of associates make their decisions on where to work based on the values of the company.
Absolutely.
And at Capital One, that is a core value of ours. Just doing the right thing, having a supply chain that's representative.
Right, yeah, you said it right. Our young people, they want to know what the company is about and that you are about the community before they even step foot in the corporation.
That is correct.
So one thing that you touched on, and I want our viewers to understand, you talked about the trickle-down economics. We did a study, economic impact study, and every dollar invested with a minority business owner yields back $1.72 into the economy based on everything that you just said, the taxes, the goods and services sold, right? And so Capital One is very intentional about making sure that you're building entrepreneurs, right? When you need a particular entrepreneur, you help to build them. And you have several different programs that you put them through. Talk to me about those programs and how you have helped to build up entrepreneurs to become successful.
Absolutely. So we have 3 developmental programs, Catapult, Sage, and a mentoring program. One of the reasons why we thought it was so important to have developmental programs was we wanted our impact to be beyond just our purchasing power. So our developmental programs have no direct benefit to us, meaning we don't only invest in suppliers who we do business with. It's open to any business who has the appetite or who thinks it's good for them. I'll talk a little bit about Catapult. So Catapult is a 6-month program, and it leverages innovation, meaning businesses come with a business problem, and we leverage innovation to enable them to solve that problem. We've had several businesses actually come to the program with one problem or even a type of business and leave with a different type of business.
Does it cost them something to go through the program?
It's free.
It's a free program.
It's free. At the end of it, there's a pitch competition where the winners, right? So it used to be 1 winner,
right?
But then after a while, we actually expanded it to 3 because we started finding out that the businesses were so close that we couldn't actually even differentiate between the top winners. They do get a prize, a seed money that they actually use to start building the solution for which they came, the problem they came to the program with.
And it's pretty hefty seed money.
It is hefty seed money.
Okay,
it
so
really
you go into the program for free.
Your
company spends 6 months developing these MBEs.
That's right.
You come in, let's just say, I'll just take, for example, a barbershop, right? And you have a technology issue. Maybe you don't know how to do your billing, and you want to do something different to catapult your company to be able to change your billing structure, whatever it is. Maybe you even have a product and you want to get it out there to the market. You help that individual.
That's right. And I like how you use Catapult to actually talk about it, right? No, seriously. So you come with a problem, and it doesn't matter what industry in which you are, any type of business. If you have a challenge, one that can use any type of innovation, so it doesn't even have to be technology. It could be actually the processes, the way you just kind of have your business, right? And are there certain inefficiencies that the program can help you to? Capital One's biggest assets are our associates.
Yes.
There are so many smart people at that company, right? And it's one of the things that really inspires me on a day-to-day is how the associates really lean in and volunteer their hours. On an annual basis, we have upwards of 150 associates who are part of these programs.
Wow.
Serving as advisors, serving as instructors, serving as SMEs. So if, let's say, as part of the program, you have a branding challenge, we reach out to our brand. And of course, you've seen our commercials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much heavy also on diversity there,
right.
if you've seen it. But we reach out and we get support to enable these businesses kind of work through those challenges.
That's excellent. I always tell my corporate partners, it's great when you give us a check, but it's even better when you give us the intellectual capital that you have. So you've volunteered on our board, you've helped us in so many ways, and to take that intellectual capital and then to turn it around and reach out and build up these MBEs. Do you have a favorite story from the Catapult program?
There are a few.
Okay.
There's a lady who came in, business is called Soul Kit. She came in with one business problem. And then after a few meetings or sessions she went through, one of the sessions we have is design thinking. And of course, it helps you kind of think through not a solution, but have you talked to your stakeholders as to what maybe they want, right?
Design thinking.
Design thinking. After going through a few of those sessions, she started thinking differently about even the type of business that she wanted to have. Today, she has a different product. It's out on the market. You go to Lowe's. So now she has a curated service where if, let's say, this is the time for kind of growing your grass in your backyard, whatever. If you have any problems with your backyard, you want your backyard to be very pristine, you can take a picture. She sends you kind of packets. Okay. She would do it like curated testing, provide you kind of an analysis of the challenges that you have, the type of seeds that you need. And now
I need to contact her.
She's really kind of blown up. This is just one of the examples of the impact that we've been able to kind of provide. And what really inspires me is when we go to conferences like NMSDC and we have a booth. And then like the next booth or a few down is a supplier who came through our program.
And that's tremendous.
And seeing them thrive.
That's tremendous.
It's really exceptional.
So you talk about design thinking, and I look at that as also being coachable, right? I tell our MBEs all the time, you might have this product, you might have this service, and sometimes you're too close to it, right? But going through a program like yours, you can step outside of where you are, look back at your product or your service, and start to be coachable, and then the design thinking comes into. So that's excellent.
It's a very truth, and one of the things we really prioritize during our conversations is a lot of diverse-owned businesses work so closely on their business, they don't step back to work on their business.
Yeah, right? That's key. We say yes. And so what's the importance of working on your business?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a question I ask every year.
Stepping back, looking at the industry, where is the industry going? Are my products still relevant? What is the trend?
Right.
Kind of having a big picture. And by so doing too, it's important for you to delegate, right? So having some kind of succession planning, you can be everything to the business.
That's so true.
Because then when you walk away, guess what? The business is not able to kind of sustain itself. So through our programs, we're able to give them some guidance, some counsel on some ways that they can kind of continue to kind of work on their business. Also though, once you graduate, you're still part of the program.
So you're part of a cohort.
You're part of a cohort. We invite them to events that we go to. We're having our summit in September. We're going to invite all the graduates, but we also send newsletters with a lot of literature, a lot of resources to enable them to continue to upscale, to be competitive in the marketplace.
Excellent. So that was 2 programs. You had a 3rd program. What's the 3rd one?
Sage. So Sage also leverages we partner with WeBank, right? WPEO. And we bring in women-owned businesses for a period of 5 months. They go through a few classes to include financial management, basic things like contracting. But the one deliverable that they walk out with is a 1-page business plan. And you may ask me why. One of the things that we found out working with diverse-owned businesses, they often have a tough time being able to articulate to you in a much simpler way what they do.
Conciseness,
in a
simplicity.
Yes, right. You can have a conversation like, I still don't know what you do.
Right.
This program enables them and forces them to capture it on just 1 page. And we've really found out from a lot of businesses how this has been really impactful because it enables them to really kind of distill in a much more concise way what they do and better able to have elevator pitches and conversations.
Is that the same as capability statement?
It is very similar to a capability statement. Yes.
So key. So you have 3 programs. Now, how do they apply to these programs?
We have, it's on our website. So there are links on our website. If you just go to capitalone.com, under diversity, there's a supply diversity link, and our programs are there. We also obviously post on LinkedIn, and then we send to you and others who we partner with, because it's really important work to support what you do. So there's several ways that they can get it. And of course, you can always reach out to Capital One, Supply Diversity at capitalone.com to get information.
Okay, so they can apply online. It's free. It's an investment, and you're making the investment. They also have to make the investment to go through the program. 6-month program, and Sage is a little bit different, but they make that investment to go through it, and then the outcome, they're part of the cohort on the end.
That's right.
So talk to us about why it's important. You've been a long-time supporter of CVMSDC. Why is it important for business owners to be certified with an organization like CVMSDC or WeBank? Why should people take the time to get certifications?
There's so many reasons, but I'll just distill it down to 2.
Okay.
There's an element of kind of being part of a network that's really critical, right? And I know your leadership. I always reach out to you. My team reaches out to you whenever we have a need for a diverse supplier, or if we have a sourcing need for any of our purchasing needs. Being certified gives Capital One, there's this added assurance. Because there's a lot of due diligence that you and your team do, right? To make sure that one, they're capable, they're financially viable, and then of course they're diverse, right? So being part of that really helps them. Now, also being part of, let's say, a member of the CVMSDC, they become part of a group that are able to kind of learn, bounce ideas, share perspectives.
That's right.
I believe business problems, regardless of industry, are kind of similar. So if you're part of a group like the CVMSDC, the benefits really extend themselves. Now, companies like Capital One really believe in certification. So we also actually volunteer and help with the certification process. So we have several associates who in the past have supported your team to do some of the certification work, as well as we provide some scholarships to businesses to help them with the certification.
Excellent. That's you're full spectrum, right? So you walk the talk, and that's what I love about Capital One, right? Some companies, they want to be where you are, and I know that you mentor companies as well, right? When we get new companies on board, you mentor them to say, okay, we can help you develop your program, because most companies have their programs are at the infancy stage, but your program is like at a PhD stage. It's very developed, and you have so many people who have gone through those programs. So where I want to end, Reuben, is to have you tell us your favorite success story. You told us one. Your favorite success story of an MBE that you've developed. We've invited 3 MBEs to come to the show who are doing work with Capital One. But what's your favorite success story?
I'll tell a few. One is just, I remember not too far back, you talk about our growth, but the reason why we're successful is because it is core to our mission.
It is core,
right?
Yes.
And it is so much easier to influence and have conversations when the company really kind of prides itself and cares about it. So our spend in 2022 was $984 million.
You're almost at the $1 billion round.
Almost at $1 billion, right? But what is beautiful about that, though, is the level of effort that internally other associates have and commitment to grow and spend with diverse-owned businesses. So whenever we've brought in businesses, our supplier diversity function, I think that's a little bit different than most, meaning we make introductions and we stay engaged. So we've seen several businesses, and I don't want to call out names of some of them.
But wait, let me just stop you there, because you make the introductions before the supplier is needed.
We make the introductions before the supplier is needed. There have actually been times where we've had to be innovative and creative and create sometimes even contracts before a need comes. Because one of the things we were starting to realize was there were some needs that whenever they came, a supplier was needed right away.
Right away.
And not having a contract was the reason why diverse suppliers were not being selected. So we decided, hey, can we create a pool of diverse suppliers with equal competencies at the ready, right? And once we did that, now, when the businesses have need, our line of business customers, there was a supply diversity pool that we could also share. And once they get the opportunity, trust me, they deliver, right? So there's been a lot of really success stories from there. We are intentional with supply diversity.
Very intentional.
And it shows up in several ways through our policies, right? We want to make sure it's something that is sustainable. So in our sourcing requirements, we have supply diversity considerations. We actually, you might find this interesting, we don't have top-down goals. It's actually very much organic in the way we do business.
It's a fabric of
It is
Capital
a fabric of
yes.
what we do. It's pretty much core. It's part of our DNA.
Right.
If I could use that. So I've really enjoyed just seeing it thrive, seeing it become part of our regular vernacular when we're talking about procurement. Supply diversity very much is at the table, right?
That's awesome. And so, you told me a lot today, but it's you have a well-oiled machine. It's self-propelling because it is in the fabric, right? And for our corporations that are listening, thinking about building programs, you have to create it when you don't need it, be introduced to those suppliers before you need them, and it needs to be part of the whole fabric of the company in order for it to work, right? When times are slow, there's going to be a diverse supplier at the table. When times are moving really fast, you know who to pull on. So I just applaud you, Reuben, for the work that you do at Capital One. I applaud the company. Very thankful for you all sponsoring this series of Intentionality with Dominique. And it is always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So if you are interested in more information, please email Reuben at reuben.essandoh, EASSANDOH, at CapitalOne.com. Be sure to stay tuned to our upcoming shows, as we will be featuring MBEs that have successfully trained with or become suppliers to Capital One. Well, that concludes today's episode of Intentionality. Be sure to join me for our next episode, and remember that you must always remain intentional to gain knowledge, skills, and connections so we can grow and thrive in business together. I am Dominique Simpson-Milton, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of Intentionality with Dominique, brought to you by the CVMSDC. For more information, please visit cvmsdc.org.